next question is, well, what inspired you to become an astronaut? I mean, what made you become an astronaut? And I think I could attribute it to three main things, main events in my life that occurred. The first one, I thank God for being a farm worker, because I think that's what planted the seed of the dream. That's what gave me the las ganas, the will to become an astronaut. And that was because every morning we used to get up when we worked in the fields. We'd get up at about 4:30 in the morning, and we would drive to the country, to the field, to the work site. And of course, once we got there, it was still dark. We had about a half hour of darkness before the sun came up and we started working on the fields. And so what I did is that was the favorite part of my whole day, because I was able to get out of the car. We were away from the city light pollution, and I was able to look up in the stars, up in the sky, see all the bright stars, the constellations, identify them, and they look so clear, so crisp, almost like in 3D, that's what captivated me. So the stars, I was naturally gravitated to the stars because of that experience. Then when I was about 10 years old, I remembered the tail end. Unfortunately, I'm old enough to remember the tail end of the Apollo program. It was the very last mission, Apollo 17. And if you guys remember, during that time, television programming was preempted each time there was a spacewalk. And you would hear Walter Cronkite narrate the not spacewalk, but the moonwalks. Walter Cronkite narrate the moonwalks. And Apollo 17 was no different. They were narrating it, and everybody in the U.S. and the world, for that matter, stopped to watch it. And the Hernández family was no different. Only difference is that we had an old black and white TV, one of those big. They looked like a piece of furniture with the big screen, and then the integrated speakers, the four little legs, and the big honking knob to change the channel. That was our TV, and of course it was black and white, snowy. And then every once in a while, you lose what's called the horizontal sync, and then you would have to bang it on the side to fix it. That was our TV. And of course, God forbid we had cable. Of course, satellite didn't exist at that time, but God forbid we had cable, because we certainly couldn't afford it. So we had the next best thing. We had those rabbit ear antennas. You guys remember those on top of the TV? And of course, anytime something important came on, we needed to adjust the TV, right? And guess who was the official antenna adjuster? It's the small kid in the family, right? That was me, yours truly. And so what I would do, of course, I know this now because I'm an electrical engineer. As soon as you grab it, what happens? Reception improves dramatically, right? Because you're well grounded. So what do you think my dad and my mom would say? Stay there, right? So here I am trying to watch the TV as I'm holding it, trying to watch the lunar walks and making sure that they had good reception. And also, of course, they also had me change the channel. I was the official channel changer. And I remember one of those events when my dad said, "Hey, go change the channel." I'm pretty political, so I kind of tried to tell it to my dad in a way he wouldn't get mad at me. When he told me to go change the channel, for the umpteenth time that day, I went ahead and changed it, and then I subtly suggested to my dad, I said, Dad, they have those new TVs now. They have remote control, and they're color. And I figured, okay, he's going to get excited about all this, right? And he's sitting in the sofa. He looks at me with this pity look. He says, "Ay, mijo." He's shaking his head in pity. He says, "Now, why do you think I would need a remote control when I have you?" And you want color? He says, "That's why God gave you a brain. Use your imagination. You can have all the color you want." So he had a practical answer for everything. So needless to say, we kept that old TV for a few more years until I finally gave out on us. But as soon as the family had their fill of me holding the antenna and watching the picture, crispy, clear picture, they allowed me to let go of it, of course. And then I would sit down right in front of the TV and watch the images of the astronauts walking on the moon, Apollo 17. And then I remember I would go outside and I would look up and I would see that the moon was out, and I would see the moon up there, stare at it for 5 minutes, come back in, sit down another 10, 15 minutes, and then go back out and come back. And I said, that's what I want to be. I want to be an astronaut. So that's when the dream, I think, was born in terms of wanting to be an astronaut, because I saw the astronauts walking on the moon, 1/6 the gravity. You know, they're walking like in slow motion, hopping like bunny rabbits up on the lunar surface. And that's when I said, that's what I want to be. So we fast forward to when I was a senior in high school. My education had gained traction. I was college bound, and I heard some news that really changed my perspective in terms of, and my own expectations of being able to achieve this dream. And that was, I had heard, okay, and that was, I had heard that NASA had selected the first Latino American astronaut, Dr. Franklin Chang Diaz. And to me, that blew my mind, because I said, if he was able to do it, why can't I do it? And so that sort of gave me a role model to follow, and said, you know, he had the same obstacles that I did. He came from Costa Rica, from humble beginnings, had brown skin like me, and spoke English in an accent. So that's when I said, that's what I want to do. And so I went to college, and again, it took me 14 years to get selected as an astronaut. I applied 12 years, 12 straight times before I finally got selected. So it was a story of perseverance. And as Lori mentioned, in 2004, that's when I got selected, trained for 2 years, 2006, and then got assigned in 2008. And last year, I realized the first mission, which is my first space mission, which was aboard STS-128, aboard Discovery.